Welcome to the 28th edition of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, powered by Nissan. 112 competitors from 28 countries set out to race across over 1,300 kilometres at the stunningly beautiful Al Dhafra region in the United Arab Emirates. But beauty always comes at a price. 5 brutal stages of intense heat and baking hot sand, kilometre after kilometre of beautiful but mountainous dunes. The Liwa Desert is sometimes known as the empty quarter, brutal conditions that will push both man and machine to their limits. This famous and iconic race has again attracted some of the best drivers and riders in the sport. Cars, buggies, bikes and quads will race in perhaps the toughest race in cross-country racing. Welcome to the 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, powered by Nissan. Before the event got underway, drivers and riders gathered at the world-famous Yas Marina racetrack in Abu Dhabi for the opening press conference. The world's media were eager to talk to the top competitors before they headed off into the desert. Rally founder and president of the ADDC UAE and FIA Vice President of Sport, Mohammed bin Sulayem, perfectly summed up the challenge of what lay ahead.
Never underestimate our desert. The minute you do it, the minute you lose or you'll have a problem. It is a challenging desert. 100 kilometers of the UAE desert is equal to 300 of Dakar. It's the demand on the car, it's the fatigue on the machine and the driver. I've done it, I know how it feels, and then with the team that we have, yes, they will do a great job, the drivers, but if you tell me today who's going to win, I have no idea.
Any apprehension drivers and riders felt was eased with a building sense of excitement ahead of the start.
It's good to be back here in Abu Dhabi to start a new season. I feel really good physically and mentally. The bike's really good. The team have been working hard, and yeah, we'll try and defend the title from last year.
It's pretty cool. It's the third time for me to be here. I will try to do my best. Yeah, now it's cool to start the race because the waiting time have to be over, and now I really enjoy the race because Shua is one of the best in the year.
It will be 9th start in this race for me. Every year I enjoy, and I enjoy the desert, I enjoy the dunes, because it's only one race in the whole year that it's like sandy, full of sandy and full of dunes.
This desert is so special with the dunes, with the hole, with the step down. That I don't know what to expect. It's nothing compared to Africa, nothing compared to South America. It's definitely really strong to come through.
Once the press conference was over, it was then to the serious business of scrutineering. With safety paramount for the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, each and every car, buggy, bike and quad was tested ahead of the race. The FIM technical delegate in charge of checking the bikes and quads, the FIAs looking after the cars and buggies, a non-negotiable 100% compliance with the rules is a must. Yas Marina Circuit was a fitting location for the ceremonial start and a super special spectator stage. Each and every competitor would take on a lap of the world-famous Formula 1 Grand Prix track. The bikes and quads set off in fours for an exhibition lap. The riders were pretty pumped up and put on a real show. However, for the cars and buggies, it was serious business. Their race started here with a 1.9 kilometre lap against the clock. Waved off by His Excellency Major General Mohammed Khalfan Al Rumaithi, Chairman of the General Authority for Sport, Mohammed bin Sulayem, President of the ADDC UAE, His Royal Highness Prince Khaled Al Faisal, President of the Motor Federation of Saudi Arabia, and Kalyana Sivagnanam, President Nissan Middle East. Out on the track, each car and buggy did not hold back. Al-Qasimi, partnered by Xavier Panseri in his Peugeot, and Przgonski with Belgian co-driver Tom Coursul in a Mini John Cooper, shared the fastest time of 1 minute, 11.1 seconds. Just a matter of seconds split the top 10 drivers, but everybody knew that the desert is a completely new ballgame, where seconds quickly turn into minutes. The following morning, each and every car, buggy, bike and quad headed for the start line for the opening stage. The adrenaline obviously was pumping, but had to be kept in check because any error in the desert is always severely punished. In the moto section, the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge acts as a season opener for the 2018 FIM Cross Country Rallies World Championship. It was the bikes and quads that had the honour of leading the way into the desert. Stage 1, a tricky 276 kilometres through very soft sand. And on the start line, there was much speculation on how these conditions would play out and the toll they would take on man and machine.
I think it's been quite soft dunes and not a lot of rain lately, and it's going to be difficult, but it's the same for everybody. So we'll just do our best and see how we manage. You know, it's difficult with the start order with some fast guys starting back to lose some time, but we'll see. We'll do our best, and that's all we can do now.
It was the Chilean Pablo Quintanilla who led the charge into the desert. He sped off into the dunes, laying out a track for the rest to follow. Perhaps a possible disadvantage for the lead bike, but not for Quintanilla. With an ice-cool temperament, he finished the day with a solid 5th place, and there's a lot more to come from the Chilean. Matthias Waltner, the 2018 Dakar Rally champion, bore the pressure of expectation. With a fast but steady ride, he posted the day's 3rd fastest time. Defending champion Sam Sunderland knew exactly what lay ahead and rode quick and clean. However, despite nailing the day's 2nd fastest time, was left frustrated, ruining a poor choice of tyre. But day 1 belonged to the Australian Toby Price, the 2016 Desert Challenge champion. He posted a lead time of 3 hours 13 minutes, a comfortable 1 minute 10 seconds cushion to go into day 2.
This is how the table stands in the moto section. It's a KTM 1-2-3, but already there's a 10-minute spread between the top 5.
In the auto section, the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge acts as the 3rd round of the 2018 FIA World Cup for cross-country rallies, and all eyes were on local hero and defending champion Khalid Al-Qasimi in the Peugeot. He and co-driver Panseri eventually finished the day in 4th place. The story of the day, however, belonged to French driver Luc Alphon. He had a day of highs and lows, and brewing not keeping the adrenaline in check. Alphon, a former World Cup downhill skiing champion, had won both the Desert Challenge and the Dakar Rally in 2006, but retired from competitive motorsport 8 years ago after suffering serious injuries in a motorbike accident. Now partnered by German co-driver Andreas Schulz, Alphon set the pace of 3 hours 13 minutes and 10 seconds. Poland's Jakub Blizzagonsky and Belgian co-driver Tom Cole-Soul in the Mini John Cooper were full of confidence after winning the recent Dubai International Baja, and they posted the day's 2nd fastest time, or so they thought. Because later on in the day, Alphon would pick up a 2-minute penalty for speeding in a restricted area, and would drop back to 2nd place. Blizzagonsky and Cole-Soul now bumped up to top the table.
Quite long stage, not so easy, but 200 k's we're driving along. Quite soft sand, we're pushing, but we enjoyed.
Ending the first leg in 3rd place was Saudi Arabia's Yassir Seyadan, accompanied by Russia's Alexei Kuzmich in a Toyota Hilux Overdrive. And Czechs Martin Prokop and David Pabiska in a Ford F-150 Evo rounded off the top 5.
After the opening 276 kilometres, the Mini Coopers take the top 2 spots, Alphon ruining not keeping the adrenaline in check, and just like in the moto section, a 10-minute spread between the top 5. After each day's racing, drivers and riders head for the bivouac, where their support teams and mechanics have made a home from home.
The soul of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge and of our country and our region. This is the real challenge, where you have to accommodate over 1,000 people, and then you have your hospital there, you have your catering, you have your press office here, and you have all of the basic important things to live.
It's part of the atmosphere. This is where you see the teams camping in the bivouac, each corner, different teams, and yeah, you have the shades, but it is in the heat, sand, you can see the dunes around you, you're here in the dust, and that's part of the game.
Everybody looks like they really enjoy. Nice view, nice sunset in the evening. We can ask the mechanics, co-driver, drivers, everything, feel so happy to be here. This desert challenge is always something special. It's special on the track, but the atmosphere on the bivouac is always great. I mean, it's not the biggest team ever, it's not the biggest rally, but it's the most sympathetic to do.
The following day, it's stage 2, the most demanding of stages. 287 kilometers, with desert temperatures rising, it would be the longest day.
It was the bikes and quads that again led the way into the dunes. But stage 2 would see a real shuffle in the pack. Australia's overnight leader Toby Price was going well, but then had a problem with a fuel pump. It would prove costly, as he was now out of the reckoning. Mr. Cool, Pablo Quintanilla, found conditions very much to his liking. He set the day's fastest time on his trusted Husqvarna, and as a result would jump up from 5th to top the table. Sam Sunderland found the day tough, with the high sun making reading the dunes a tricky affair. He would, however, still cling on to 2nd place overall. Argentinian rider Kevin Benavides rode well and jumped up a place to end the day in 3rd, and clinging on to his coattails, the 2018 Dakar Rally champion Matthias Walkner finishing in 4th.
After 2 stages and 563 kilometers of brutal heat, sand and mountainous dunes, Pablo Quintanilla now leads after a stunning ride on day 2 with a lead of 1 minute and 8 seconds. The Chilean really making his mark as the rest of the pack struggled.
Today was a really good stage for me. I start 5 and I get the guys in front, and yeah, I felt really good. The temperature was really high. It was not easy to manage, but I'm really happy. The bike was awesome and I'm really happy.
Mirroring the moto section, the cars and buggies would struggle and toil on stage 2. And as a result, another big shuffle in the pack. It was a day to forget for Alfond and Schultz. They struggled right from the off. They lost time in the dunes and would slip badly down the leaderboard. Overnight leaders Blizagonski and Kolsul lost 15 minutes after getting stuck and fought back hard to finish the day in 2nd place overall. Khalid Al-Qasimi in his Peugeot drove a solid stage without making up real time. Starting back in 5th, Prokop and Pabiska were flying. As the stage wore on, they began to drive fast, uncompromising lines. They eventually caught up with Qasimi and were now making light of the soft conditions in their Ford F-150 Evo. In a breathtaking drive, they would jump up from 5th to take the overall lead.
We had few big moments. We were like almost 2 hours together with Sheikh. So once he was in the front, once me, it was a nice fight. So happy to be here.
This is how the auto table stood after 2 testing stages. The Czechs, Prokop and Pabiska, now have over a 10-minute lead over their nearest rivals, but only 5 minutes separate 2nd and 4th. But everything could change with 3 more brutal stages to come. The 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge has again tested the best riders and drivers in the business. Soft sand conditions have already proven tough and exhausting. Yet the speed, skill and endurance of the competitors is quickly turning the 28th edition of this iconic race into a classic. How will it all play out? Don't go away. Welcome back to the 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge powered by Nissan. After 2 days of full-on racing across the most testing racing terrain in the world, each and every competitor now fully appreciates the challenge that still remains. 3 more stages still to come, over 750 kilometres of tricky soft sand and huge dunes. A real test of speed, skill and endurance. This iconic event attracts some of the best riders and drivers in the sport, and also competitors from right across the globe. And for a new team, it was a case of the son stepping into his father's shoes.
About 6 months ago, made up my mind not to race because I broke my back in Dakar, and it hasn't repaired after 3 years, so I thought I'd hand the keys over to the young fella, let him have a go, and he's done me proud. It's his second race, cross-country race, so he was thrown in the deep end a bit, but he learnt quickly and he proved that yesterday, you know, getting 6th overall. It shows the potential he's got in the car.
It's certainly been an adventure, yeah, very steep learning curve. Having never done any sand dunes ever, I had to learn a lot very quickly. He handed the keys to me at the last minute before an event in Australia, and managed to pull off a win there, my first cross-country event, so I was pretty stoked with that, so we thought, hey, let's give the rest of the world a go.
Dale's an excellent co-driver, has done a lot of experience, been to Dakar before, and I think he's the best to go with Luke. Grab hold of him, slow him down if he's going too quickly.
First rally I did with him, I sat beside him, and you can tell he's obviously got a natural gift and flair for driving the car. He feels quite comfortable in it quite quickly, but you can't take any shortcuts. And unfortunately in this form of racing, you're out there by yourself, so the only real way to learn is by your own mistakes.
Today Luke and them got bogged on one area and they used reverse gear, and reverse is blown completely. The spare gearbox we had already broken to Australia. That's motorsport. It's the one thing you don't bring is what you need sometimes.
I think coming and doing the hardest sand dunes in the world is the quickest way to get good at them, I guess. So they say these are the hardest sand dunes in the world, and if they are, then bring on the Silkway. It sounds like it's easy.
Day 3, another testing stage. With rising temperatures and fatigue perhaps beginning to kick in, the brutal 281-kilometre third stage has a reputation of really taking its toll. And so it proved.
In the moto section, overnight leader Pablo Quintanilla had a tough time opening the stage. He quickly lost time. His overnight lead of 1 minute and 8 seconds had evaporated by the first checkpoint. Defending champion Sam Sunderland, however, put his previous problems behind him. He dominated the stage, he was fast, really fast, and seemed to glide over the dunes. He comfortably won the stage, and more importantly took a 7-minute overall lead over his nearest rival. 2018 Dakar Rally champion Matthias Walkner also had a good day, finishing the stage with the 2nd fastest time. Argentinian rider Kevin Benavides also went well, consolidating his 3rd place overall. Meanwhile, Quintanilla finished back in 4th and would slip down the leaderboard. Despite the fierce competition between the competitors, the camaraderie and sportsmanship between them is just as strong, and this was epitomised by Toby Price. Just a couple of kilometres from finishing the stage, he stopped to help fellow rider Mohamed Al-Balushi, who had crashed, and waited with him for the medical helicopter to pick him up.
Balushi had a crash, and yeah, I stopped for him to make sure he was okay, and had to wait for the helicopter. He was a little bit unconscious and sleeping on the track, so yeah, the boys really got a hold of him, and I'm looking after him.
Thankfully, Mohamed Al-Balushi was okay, but his rally was now over. But it was still all to play for on the leaderboard. Sam Sunderland now led. 7 minutes and 34 seconds back in 2nd is Matthias Walkner. Kevin Benavides 3rd, and Pablo Quintanilla drops back to 4th.
In the auto section, Luke Alphonse showed his class by winning stage 3, but because of gearbox problems on day 2, was out of contention in the overall standings. But as predicted, the 3rd stage took its toll, with many drivers having to toil in the dunes. However, overnight leaders Prokop and Paviska played it safe and were 3rd fastest on the day, finishing the leg with a reduced advantage of 8 minutes 40 seconds. Poland's Jakub Blizagonski and Belgian co-driver Tom Korsul were 2nd quickest on the day. The UAE's defending champion Khalid Al-Qasimi suffered a major setback, losing 30 minutes, a broken drive shaft ending his chances.
After the brutal third stage, this is how the standings looked. Prokop and Paviska still retain the lead. Blizgonski and Kolsul still hold on to second. And over 45 minutes behind the leaders, it's Qasimi and Passeri back in third. Stage 4, the penultimate but slightly shorter stage of 244 kilometres. A tricky stage that would again fully test each and every competitor.
In the battle of the bikes, it was all still to play for. Any one of the top 4 could get the win, and on the start line there was plenty of tension. Each rider knew that any mistake could prove costly. Overnight leader Sam Sunderland started in determined mood, but early on in the stage Sunderland crashed and lost valuable minutes. He also lost his water pack. It was then thirsty work to the finish. The chasing pack quickly took advantage, no more so than Pablo Quintanilla. He had a stormer. It was tough going, but he still managed to jump up the pack to regain his overall lead. Volkner also found it tough and had a huge battle with Kevin Benavides.
It's another big shuffle on the Moto leaderboard. Quintanilla bounces back from 4th to top. Sunderland drops down to 2nd, and Benavides and Volkner 3rd and 4th respectively.
In the auto section, leaders Prokop and Paviska now made a decisive move. They set off at a blistering pace, to which none of the following cars and buggies could match. By the end of stage 4, the leaders had doubled their time advantage to over 15 minutes. Only mechanical failure or a crash would now stop them from winning the rally. Brzezinski and Kolsul just about hung on for second. 2014 and 2015 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge winners Vasiliev and Ziltsov drove quick and clean and climbed up to 3rd overall and were gunning for 2nd spot. Qasimi and Passeri, meanwhile, continue to struggle.
Going into the final day, Prokop and Paviska top the leaderboard with a comfortable 15-minute lead. But they still have to negotiate the final stage without incident to take the win. The final stage. 218 kilometres that would decide who would win the 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge.
For Pablo Quintanilla, victory was now in sight, but he would have the huge pressure of expectation on his shoulders. He had a 6-minute cushion and knew that any slip-up could cost him the race. In a spectacular mass start of the final stage, the lead bikes headed off together into the desert. Staying with the pack, the Chilean, in a calculated ride, protected his lead and finished the final stage in 5th. But he had done more than enough to take the win. In typical fashion, defending champion Sam Sunderland fought to the bitter end and rode hard and fast. He finished the rally in 2nd place overall.
Mr. Consistent Kevin Benavides again rode well and fought off the determined challenge of Volkner to finish 3rd, with the 2018 Dakar Rally champion in 4th. But for Quintanilla, it's a big win and a winning round on the 2018 FIM Cross Country Rallies Championship.
It was a really hard race, really tight fight with all the guys, so I'm really happy for this. The idea from today was always no risk so much, because I knew that I have 6 minutes in front, and it was an important gap to stay more relaxed. Yeah, always something special to win.
In the auto section, with a 15-minute cushion, perhaps victory was never really in doubt, and Prokop and Paviska took it relatively easy. They finished the final stage in 4th. Both knew they had plenty of time in the bank to take the well-deserved win. Blizgonski and Kolsul had to drive fast right until the very end to protect their position from the Russians to finish a well-deserved 2nd. Previous rally winners Vasiliev and Ziltsov really pushed hard to try and catch the 2nd place Czechs, but perhaps had left it a little too late.
So it's huge congratulations to Martin Prokop and David Paviska, who take the win. 3 years hard work of practicing and racing in the desert has paid huge dividends as they win the 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. Jakub Rozgonski and Tomkol Sul finish in second place, and the Russians Vladimir Vasilyev and Konstantin Ziltsov finish third. With all drivers now safely home, each one knew they'd given their all in this most testing of races.
We are happy. Martin had really good race and he didn't make any mistake. We had 2 mistakes and this is the time what we lose for sure. But we are happy that the rhythm is really good. We can go really fast and without problems we could really be faster and faster.
The first place is really something amazing and I'm happy that I didn't make any mistake on this race, because for me the sand driving is the worst in the world. After I quit the WRC, this was the biggest problem for me, to drive on the sand. So I focus on it and now I won the race in sand, so it's really something special for me. And the race like this, the big race like Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, so it's really high in the ranking.
At the ceremonial finish back at the world-famous Yas Marina race circuit, it was all smiles and congratulations for each and every competitor. For Mohammed Ben Sulayem, there was a sense of pride and relief that for the 28th year running, he delivered another epic challenge.
I am happy that everybody is back, healthy. Whoever wins, I'm not that much concerned with it as much as their lives and their safety. So really happy with this. Prokofiev was in the WRC and he struggled with the sand at the beginning, but I said to him, where is that struggle? I can't see it, you know. You are beating even the nationals here, the locals, and he's good. He maintained his car, maintained his concentration, and above that maintained his stamina.
112 competitors from 28 countries. 1,300 kilometers of the most testing desert racing. 5 days of spectacular skill, speed and endurance. The 2018 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge, powered by Nissan, has yet again delivered another epic edition. We hope you've enjoyed the racing and thank you for watching.